Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome from the UBI4ME team. We have Marcel
Oh yeah,
and you have myself, Daniela, and we are currently hosting a monthly UBI4ME call to try and explain UBI to people who are interested and also to get ideas from you in terms of what you imagine it to look like, how you would like to see it, and how soon you would like to implement it. So I'm going to give Marcel a chance to get a few words in before I will start talking about the US elections and how that may or may not impact any future ideas and plans for UBI worldwide and most certainly in the US. So Marcel, anything you would like to say before I may go on for a bit too long?
no, I think the U.S. elections is the key topic for today, especially since elections start in a few hours. I suppose they've already started
Yes.
in some counties that start elections at midnight in their district. Um, it's interesting that just 4 years ago, or should we say 5 years ago, when the Democrats were still campaigning in the primaries, that we had a UBI candidate, Andrew Yang. So UBI has been, at least at the primary stage, on the ballot in the US before. Andrew Yang, for those that don't know, was suggesting a UBI of $1,000 a month per person, and that would be a universal basic income that would be sufficient for people to cover their basic needs, to be able to live a comfortable, not rich life, but to be able to live, to be able to afford the rent, pay able to food, and pay for themselves. Not like we've been discussing before, the Universal Basic Guys TV show where they were getting $6,000 a month. $1,000 a month is what I would consider a decent universal basic income to get people started.
May I just throw in 2 points to what you said? That yes, I completely agree that Andrew Yang was moving the conversation forward in large part, and that is my first point. He did the calculations on being able to pay every single American person $1,000 a month and still be budget neutral. So there wouldn't be any impact on the budget at all, and still every single person would be able to receive $1,000 a month. So
Yes,
that's a net positive coming out of his campaign already, that there are the
exactly,
calculations on how to make that happen.
exactly.
Secondly, and that is me talking to all sorts of people in all sorts of countries, that 1,000, whatever monetary units, chances are, is not enough. And are a lot of people who live in Europe, but also in the US, some of them, they live out in the sticks where rents are cheap and life generally is considered cheaper than in the big cities like New York, San Francisco, London, Paris, Madrid. But $1,000, €1,000 isn't going to reach the end of the month. If you're lucky, you get to the middle of the month. If you're counting rent, car costs, food, insurance, water, electricity, if you add it all up, you will not make it through to the end of the month. Um, if you're lucky, you live in a place where 2,000 net will get you just about to the end of the month if you have decided to fast 2-3 days a week so you don't have food on those days. And if you have decided not to insure the contents of your household, for example, but get away with the bare minimums. So 1,000 currently just isn't going to cut it. It will help if you have a job, that you can pay off your debt, that you can build up a cushion should you lose your one job or two jobs, or however many jobs you have to hold down to make the rent and bills and things. But 1,000, as you said, and I do agree wholeheartedly with you, it's a good start. If nothing else, it's a good start. It will allow people to take care of their health. It will allow people to get to work, so alleviate some of those costs. It will allow to change their lives because the money will keep coming in month on month. But as I said, my concern here is that 1,000 sounds like a great number, and 10 years ago it may have been enough, but currently not enough anymore. Sorry, that's my bit. That's the kind of importance I put onto today's election outcome. Because 4 years ago, when Andrew Yang was running, the world looked differently to today. Um, Go back 8 years, the world again looked very differently. 8 years ago, yeah, 1,000 could have made it through to the end of the month. Hard, it would be hard, but you could just about manage if you're in a flat chair, you don't eat a lot, and as I mentioned, you don't have a lot of extra costs. Nowadays, times have moved on, times have changed. I don't want to go down talking about how Trump is embracing fascism and Hitler and the Nazis full out, because I never thought I would see it in my lifetime. But this is how important it is right now. And part of this rhetoric is why we are in a situation where 1,000 doesn't reach the end of the month, is because some people who have or whose families have accumulated wealth and capital are now enriching themselves on it. And this is in large part driving inflation, and this is why the lesser rich population or part of the population is struggling, and that is why I'm so interested in having a UBI as one way of addressing that situation. And that is again coming back full circle. The election is important today. I'm not allowed to vote myself. I fully support Harris on so many different talking points. Yes, she has an interest in every single person in the US being able to go to the doctor's office and discuss with the doctor their health, no matter what. Who am I to tell a man on how they have to treat their testicular cancer? Not my business, not my problem. I don't want to get involved. At the same time, I don't want to get involved if a woman wants to have a baby and for some reason can't, or she wants to have a baby, she's pregnant and there are complications. Not my problem. I'm not the expert. But what I can talk on is the impact of a UBI on our society. And trust me, when I put forth the idea that somebody whose family accumulated wealth through enriching themselves on people who were born into a less fortunate situation, enriching themselves on those poor people, and now they're running on a ticket of, oh, look at me, how great I am. This is not the way forward. The way forward is if people look out for one another, if people share a bit more, and if people make sure that everyone gets their fair share. And again, I'm going to take a breather to allow Marcel to come back into the conversation.
No, please keep going.
Um, it is so close to my heart you can't even imagine. And a lot of people who think that the Trumpian way of going about business and just bullying their way through life, of pretending to be something they are not, and this is the way to do it. Um, they have never actually read anything that makes humans so successful on the planet. And the first one would be Darwin's and his theory of evolution. If you read his book, you will find out that the main reason why humans are still alive and why humans are, for lack of a better terminology, are the main species on the planet is because they're supporting each other. If you have women um, going through pregnancy, and pregnancy being one of the toughest thing you can do to your body ever. I mean, forget about Eddie Hall lifting half a ton of weight as the first person ever to lift that much. And if you look at the video, his eye color changes during his feet. Literally, from brown eyes, they turn turquoise and then back again. Having a baby is somewhere on par with that. It's traumatic to a lot of people. The body will never really recover. There's so much involved. Please go and speak to somebody who is honest about it, how it really was. Go and watch some of those videos they show you in high school of what really happens when the baby comes out. It's not a magical thing. It's tough on the body. It's hard. And again, we need to help that part of the population, because half of the population is in the fortunate situation of making that happen, and we need to support those. Currently, they're underrepresented in politics, they're underrepresented in the rich people, or any position of power. And one way of redressing that, again, is a UBI. If everyone receives a UBI, at some point, surely people will come around to the idea that your value as a human being is not directly correlated to what's between your legs. Why should it be? Surely your value as a human being is how you conduct yourself, how you behave yourself towards other people, if you're supportive to other people, but also if you're looking after yourself, because if you're not in a good situation yourself, you can't help other people, and how we try and progress humanity as a whole. And that's why I think UBI is such an important topic to talk about. And again, that's why I think Harris is the better way forward, because whilst she may not have UBI as a talking point in her list of policies, if you look at her policies, first of all, she has a list of policies that she's going to go after. Secondly, on that list, there are a lot of initiatives that will help the lower end of the spectrum. So, for example, housing initiatives. Secondly, one of my favorites, the price gouging stops and breaks she will put in place to, again, to stop some companies from enriching themselves. There are policies on helping small businesses. Again, it's all going in the right direction in terms of helping everyone. And if there is a good base of the population that is able to look after themselves, then they can start looking after other people. And that's going to start a positive upward spiral, helping everyone. And guess what? If people have money to spend, they will spend it. They will go to the coffee shop. They will buy another pair of jeans. They will buy another piece of electronics. And as long as society provides those goods, money will keep flowing. And then everyone is going to be better off than before. And that is, again, that is something I see in the Harris and Walz campaign. Nothing I see in the GOP side. The GOP side currently, and in particular Trump and Vance, they're running on hatred. They are running on disgusting, racist, misogynistic rhetoric that is so disturbing it's beyond words. Not a single policy point out there that I have seen that you can talk about even other than racism. Really, I mean, where does that lead? Go back to the late 1930s, 1940s in Europe. That's how it plays out usually. Sorry, back on topic. Universal basic income. There is good news. Yes, there always is good news on this topic. So first of all, we are now on Mastodon. Yes, we're sharing some thoughts, we're sharing news, we're sharing talking points on mastodon.world. You can find us under UBI4ME. And we will put a link to our Mastodon site onto the YouTube video and also on Patreon. So do follow us, do have a look, and comment and respond to some of our posts, because we love to hear from you and what you think about what we talk about. That's good news. Then secondly, on Mastodon, you will also find other UBI groups. One of them has just managed to raise their funds to set up a UBI project, and I'm so chuffed for them. So again, I'll put the link into the videos, and you'll find them. Sorry, Marcel, you have been linked with them for a little longer. So do you want to say something about it briefly, or should we move on to the next few news items?
So they've raised $1.5 million for 2 UBI projects. One is called Commingle. Now, Commingle is basically a UBI, not a state-sponsored UBI, but a members-sponsored UBI. What I particularly like about Commingle and the video that they use to describe what it is and what it does is how a UBI works, and how if everybody contributes a certain percentage to the UBI pool and then shares it equally amongst everyone, most of the people will get more money than they put in, right? The rich will get a little less than they put in because it won't make much difference to their lives. But the people that get the most, right, will make a huge difference to their lives. So the small percentage that people pay in, right, is equal across all incomes. And it's basically a members only UBI. So if you want to become part of that club, you can join the club. You get a percentage of your income is added to the pool, and you will get money back. Now, as long as you're not in the top 10% or whatever of earners, right, you will actually get more out than you put in. And this is a great way to demonstrate how good a UBI is, because all those people that think, I'm going to have to be paying and I'm going to be paying for the poor people and things like, no, most people, right, will get more than they put in. Right? That is the beauty of a UBI. That's the beauty of understanding how rich the rich are, right? That their percentage will cover most of the costs, right? And it also goes to show all these people that complain about, but the rich will get a UBI too. Yes, they will, right? But no one is going to complain that Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg joins Commingle, right? Because they are going to be contributing a huge amount of money, even if they also get the UBI from the project. So the Commingle project I think is a fascinating project. It basically takes the state out of the picture, and it becomes eligible for anybody who wants to join. It's a members-only club, but anybody can become a member. So that's one of the projects. The second one is a lot more about developing the news and getting UBI and things out there. But the Commingle project, I think, is the most fascinating project out there. So I think if we put a link in the description, linking back to them and the Commingle project itself, that would be really useful. People can have a look at that. Just an interesting, even if you just want to read about, just understand a little bit more about how UBI will work.
Yes, I'm just as excited. It's just great news for everyone out there who wants to see more and hear more about it. Also, another great experience out there is that the Big Experience, it's called, is talking about UBI a lot as well. So they did actually start back in the day. They did interview Andrew Yang on the topic. They have a great list of FAQs out there, and they also have a game that you can use to play with your friends and family, to talk about UBI, how it works, what it does, what the benefits of it are, and just get the conversation started. Again, I will put the link down below, so have a look, click away, and you will also find those links on our website and on Mastodon. So do follow and check in with us if you like. For me personally, a more exciting topic is that Bern in Switzerland is going to start a UBI project. Yes, they famously rejected UBI in one of the famous Swiss referendums in 2016. And that apparently stopped the conversation for a few years. Now, what did happen, though, is because of more recessions and then the COVID pandemic, the conversation did actually continue. And in Zurich and Lucerne, the topic of a UBI was picked up in the local government, but then rejected because, who's going to pay for it? And the other topic, it's never going to be sustainable and there's no point in giving poor people money. So Lucerne and Zurich rejected it. However, Bern said, no, actually, let's try it. Let's pick 300 people. We're going to start the project. We're going to do it rigorously using the scientific method, and then we're going to write up what we find and share the findings. So, yay, Switzerland. No, I'm not Swiss. My accent is not from Switzerland, but I used to live there for a few years. I have been. I was never allowed to take part in referendums myself. However, I had a lot of Swiss friends, and whilst I was there, they talked me through the referendums, how they work, how people get informed about pros and cons of the options and so on. And ever since then, Switzerland has a soft spot in my heart. So I hope that Bern is going to show a success with the UBI project, that it will work out, and that this one project is going to be able to swing enough votes to say, yes, let's try at least a Swiss-wide UBI project and see what happens. And going full circle back to the US elections now. Positive note, Oregon has Measure 118. It is presented as a UBI project in many ways, or a nationwide or statewide UBI project, a UBI-ish suggestion. What it means is that per person, a total of $1,600 per year, or per household, that will be on average $6,400, which you can receive as a rebate via your tax return. That means you're not going to get given money, cash into your bank account. But as long as you have a tax return, you file your tax return, you simply say, yes, please, give me the money back, and you will receive it back. So that is on the ballot today. People will have to decide whether to opt in or whether to opt out. So I count on everyone in Oregon to say, yes, please, we want it, we want to try it, we want to see what happens. And again, the super positive, the really, really good point around this initiative is that they have a plan on how to pay for it. So, yes, it is the large cap companies. When I say large cap, that's super big companies to you and me. Comcast is the one company they have in the name and mentioned by title. So super large companies that have super large profits each year that don't pay a lot of tax at all. So the tax is going to be raised from memory now about from 1.7% to possibly 2-3%. Minimal, really, if you compare it to your own income tax. So everyone in Oregon, or anyone who knows somebody in Oregon, give them a call, tell them to say, yes, we want Measure 118 to be implemented, because it would be a fantastic way to run a project, to say, yes, it can work, and it does work. Let's give some money back to people. Let's help people out. The large companies, they will always moan. They will always say they're paying too much. Even if you say no income, no corporation tax at all, they still will say they're paying too much. So that's not going to go away. So let's try this. Let's see what happens in Oregon. I hope they're going to vote for it, because that would be a great way to start 2025.
Yeah, sounds good. Should be interesting to see the outcome of that. Just the referendum itself, never mind the actual results from what people think about it.
Yes, exactly. And you make a really good differentiation between, first of all, the outcome in and of itself, the yes or no, and also the what do people think about it. Again, a lot of those initiatives that are coming out now are not only projects about let's see how it runs, or it's a referendum like in Switzerland with yes or no. A lot of it, in my opinion, is about talking with people about it, making sure that people understand what it really is about, making sure that people understand that yes, there is enough money in the world. We just need to be smart about how we use it as humanity, as one group of people. If we don't think about the human species as individual nations, or if we don't split people out by eye color, for example, I'll put a link to the eye color comment below, then you'll understand. In summary, it's based on a school project where the teacher says, okay, let's split the class into two groups, brown eyes and blue eyes. And the brown-eyed people are better people, and the blue-eyed people are the slaves. So brown-eyed people, whatever you say goes, and blue-eyed people, you have to do as you're told within a few hours. And those are school children from about, correct me, Marcel, if you remember the details
I don't
on
remember
hand,
this.
but young teenagers-ish, age-wise. So within a few hours, They started behaving like Nazis and slaves. Hours. It doesn't take years or anything to radicalize people. It's done so quickly. Many people are missing it. You know, you blink and you didn't see it. I'll put the link down below. And again, let's stop separating people out, and yeah, life will be better for everyone.
Yeah.
I've been a bit ranty today, given the elections and how important it is. As I mentioned, there is good news out there. I am ever hopeful that humanity as a whole will move forward as a whole because there is no alternative. Ultimately, we're on one planet. Um, there's nothing we can do about it other than sharing it and hopefully sharing it in such a way that everyone is going to have a good time. I understand right now we're not quite there yet. We do need to stand up. We do need to make sure our voices are heard. Um, but we will get there. It's been going better. Every century had a big milestone in many ways, and it's always gotten better and better. 100 years ago, women were given the votes. 100 years before then, poor men were given the vote. Who would have thought that? Because 250 years ago, it was only rich white men that were able to decide what's going on. And by
Property
now,
owners.
sorry,
Property owners.
property, yes. So it's getting better and better. We just must remember that we have to do something to make it or to keep it on that path to getting better. We must do something. There's nobody who comes swooping in to help us and save us. There is no savior out there. It's all our own work. We need to get up and put the legwork in ourselves. So today, America is voting. Tomorrow, I'll be on my phone trying to find out who won. I hope it's going to be Harris and Waltz and the Democratic side of things. And then I hope the next 4 years will be a positive continuation and improvement on the last 4 years, so that in 4 years' time, when election time comes around again, it's going to be a better choice between two better parties, and also a few other. Sorry.
And hopefully UBI will be on the ballot again.
And hopefully UBI will be on the ballot again, and hopefully it will be on the ballot in more than one state. And hopefully until then, the Swiss project in Bern will have shown positive results. And I hope that Commingle until then has been shown to be a success. So there's a lot happening between now and the next 4 years.
Exactly.
Any more thoughts?
No, I think we're all looking forward to seeing what the outcome is so that we can plan ahead.
Yes. Plan ahead and make more things or make more positive things happen in the world.
Yeah.
That's all from me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you as well. And if you want to join us, we are meeting the first Tuesday of the month at 4 o'clock Universal Central Time. So that's yes. At the moment, it is 4 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Do have a look at your local time as well. Join us if you like. We publish the link every month. You can look at the previous recordings on YouTube and Patreon. Do support us on Patreon if you want to join us, if you see value in our project, and if you would like to see more of us and more of us in the news to speak to more people and reach a wider audience.
Sounds good.
Okay, until next time, bye bye.
Bye.